Good afternoon. Um, I've come today to celebrate with you the day that I returned in this reincarnation on this earth plane some 20,440 days ago. Go figure. I'm not telling you. Anyway, it is with great appreciation and gratitude that I find myself in as I celebrate this day, because of all that I have learned on this journey, the magnitude of learning, remembering, and reconnecting has been phenomenal. To have reached a point in my evolution where I am at peace within. I am fully resident in my loving heart. And the wisdom gained along this way, the wisdom and knowledge gained, has been of such a magnitude. I know that this is my last incarnation on this earth plane. And the final step's been taken to full soul mastery. Now, going right back to the beginning of this lifetime, firstly, I should explain that before we incarnate, we choose our parents. We pick our parents for the lessons that we need to learn in this lifetime. For whatever the combination of these two people coming together will bring out in you that which you need to remember. So usually the more painful the experience or the more troubled the situation is, the greater the opportunity there is for soul evolution. So just bear that in mind. Now, I surely did not wish to return. I knew I had to return. I had to return to fully empower myself, to remove all vestiges of naivety and innocence, to come into awareness and to be beautiful, but not in a naive sense. Because in a naive sense, I was persecuted greatly in a prior life. Unfortunately, in that lifetime, I became a very well-known figure, so there was lots of information for me to access quite easily, which has helped enormously with this lifetime, because as a measuring tool to how much more I have evolved in that time, in this lifetime. Because in that lifetime, because of the persecution against my pious soul and beautiful heart, I carried a lot of pain over back into the spirit world. I carried hurt that I wasn't believed by certain establishments, shall we say, who knew fine well. It was my innocence and naivety that allowed me to actually leave emotionally in pain. So that had to be addressed. So this lifetime, when we know what we have to complete, we have our intentions and our life view of what our intention is before we arrive, the people that we intend to meet along that way, the connections and the synchronicities we need to make in order to remember and share and complete and tie up loose ends and redress the balance in all areas and with all people. For when we come back, there are certain souls from our soul group that we are destined to meet. A lot of people are not in awareness of this yet. Now, one way of being aware of this is if you find that your soul has a very powerful draw to another person without you being it being a physical attraction to them. But if there's a very, very, very powerful surge from your heart or your solar plexus towards another person, for me, that was a very powerful sign. After time, I wasn't always aware of it, that these were souls that I'd known before. I mean, as we evolve and we become more open, then you will meet people that you're very comfortable with. That's not quite the same. It doesn't necessarily mean you've known the person from prior lifetimes. However, when I was born, I was fighting it all the way. Because as we come down into the lower frequency levels from the higher vibrational levels, when we come into the world of matter, as we come into this physical world, the vibration slows down. And as it slows down, we fall into forgetfulness. Now our soul is cloaked and encased with all the vestments and all the gifts therein to rediscover and to bring all of these gifts to their loving conclusion, until eventually we become desireless, where we just become pure loving beings of light with no expectations to serve. And in this great age of Aquarius, we're coming more and more into this. I can see it happening right across the globe. Many, many, many groups and individuals and really rising, bringing it all back, bringing the generosity of heart and soul, sharing, connecting, synchronicity occurring, paying attention, seeing the next move to be made, the next connection to be made, to always be embracing with an open mind and in clarity, great clarity, you know. As we step out of all emotional drama, we become more the observer or the witness. I witnessed and observed a lot as a child, because born an Aquarian, born in the age of Aquarius, I was a very sensitive soul. So I was sensitive and very aware to all, keenly aware of all energy, disturbance and vibrations. And because I wasn't protected, I couldn't protect myself from this, so I went into my inner shell and I observed. So a lot of work was done in those formative years, because I was observing. I was watching what was going on around me, I mean, it scared the living daylights out of me. It scared me. Yeah. A lot of ugly stuff was going on in this world. Now that is literally, now that we are in this age of enlightenment, the age of Aquarius, as our energy ever more arises, you know, every day more and more the word love is being used and expressed. It's only a few short years ago you would never have been allowed to express love. You would have never been allowed to express empowering people. It was all out of reach. You were the sinner. You had to hope God or Jesus was going to forgive you, step in and resurrect you with a bit of luck and a wish. It's not like that, my friend. We must become godliness as an inner state. We must become like all the symbols of the great sun have been. All the great sun symbols, which were Krishna, Jesus, Buddha, many, many more. Many, many, many stories told about the sun. And it's the sun within the self. We need to resurrect the sun within us. The light of the world. We need to become the light of the world, the lights of the world. Streaming consciousness, streaming goodness, streaming pureness from our soul. Now, as a very, very young child, well, I was coming to feet first. I really didn't want to be on the earth plane, so I was battling it all the way in the womb. I don't think I was particularly wanted either. I was a mistake, as I was informed, but that doesn't matter. What matters is I'm here, and I thank both of my parents who are on the other side. I thank you both so much for being my parents, for the opportunity to learn the lessons that I needed to learn to evolve my soul. And amongst those lessons were having two grandparents who were extreme opposites. One, to me, was kind of cold and dark and unapproachable to me as a child. And the other one was so gentle and quiet and beautiful. And to her, I presented myself. She is one of my soul group members. She was one of the souls I was guaranteed and needed to meet in this lifetime. And the next one was a neighbour. And I found out many, many, many years later that we were friends in quite a few lifetimes. Although a Native American lifetimes, way before the Europeans arrived and did what they did. Because friends, we have been many different nationalities. We have been here many, many, many times. As a child, I was very disempowered. I was so fearful. And when you're fearful, others pick up on this energy. And those who pick up on the energy of fear become the bullies. So this is what we need to be teaching our children as well too. How to come away from the fear. How to empower from the inside by being love. When you become love, a powerfully loving vibration, you will not have that bullying sensation. It won't happen to you. It's an awareness. You know, energy vibration will always draw. To it. My fear brought me some terrible lessons. Dear. Oh, beautiful lessons when I look back, because, as I say, if it empowers you eventually, the sooner you learn the lessons, the better. So this age, we'll be able to learn these lessons a lot quicker. Because this actually is the age of the instant karma. You know, as your thought goes out, as the energy vibration is raised more and more and more, as more and more people come into the light vibration. Now I've seen this very much so, where the powerful results of coming into your heart and being in alignment with yourself, being in alignment with your soul and your soul purpose and your highest potential as a human, you know, in the physical carriage. I've also seen many recently having head-on crashes because they're not dealing with what needs to be dealt with within their own soul. And I mean, some literally are having head-on collisions, car accidents, physical accidents. Physical illness. Wake-up calls are happening all over the place, because this is the age we are in now, where the energy frequencies will become ever more and more and more refined. I might make a separate video on this as well, but I'm going to introduce this money situation now. Now I want you to look at the situation of money from a completely different angle from you have normally been looking at it. Now, bearing in mind this is the only place where money has any importance. It holds no importance. It holds no sway in the universe. It is only here on the earth. And it affects everyone, whether you have money or whether you have no money. Lack of money or a lot of money. It's really taken the soul off the path a lot. Concentrating on this thing. Now I want you to look at this. When you return to the world of spirit, you will have a life review. This life review will show you all the opportunities that you had in this lifetime to make a difference and to serve, to be of service and to be served, serving each other. You will get to see all those times that you failed to help another human being because they didn't have money to pay you. Where money was the God before service. You will get to see every opportunity where you have been denied by others because maybe you didn't have money, or you denying others because they did not have money to pay you for a service, for something you needed. If someone needs something, if someone needs help, and we can help those people without causing us a loss, we really must start helping each other because it's the right thing to do. It doesn't matter what your trade is or what you are good at. The only way we dissolve this money problem is to have several options in place. One, that you can serve someone and help someone because you can. Another way is to barter with someone for your services, to exchange for something they can do for you, or to set up time banking in communities would be a very, very, very good way. And obviously money. Money should not be the only exchange. It became that money was the only exchange for labour or time. We need these other exchanges. We need to do good deeds because it's the right thing to do. To look out for our brothers and sisters. To assist each other. When you see someone struggling, how difficult is it to help them? How difficult is it to ask them, what can I do for you? Within reason. And if you can help, to help. And if you have homes that are sitting empty, would it not be a good idea to offer this accommodation in exchange for some labour instead of money? There are many down and out people. There are many homeless people when there's no need for them to be homeless. Isn't it time we became much more generous? Isn't it time we became the gold that we seek? Isn't it time we became golden sovereigns? Claiming your sovereign birthright, it's not just claiming it. It's being it, being a sovereign. Being a pure soul, a soul of pure gold, golden light. Because when you look back at your life review and you see all those opportunities, I mean, how shocking will that be for your soul if you have forgotten the people you intended to help along life's pathway because you got caught up in this money business. Now, another thing I want to touch on very, very briefly is reclaiming reclaiming your sovereign birthright by reclaiming your birth certificate. You know, to reclaim that you are not lost at sea. To establish that there's no authority between you and the Creator. To reclaim your position on that corporation birth certificate, which is in capital letters, to claim that you are the sole shareholder and the sole benefactor for everything in that name, that all capitals name that's on your birth certificate. To reclaim that, that's a good start. Because when you reclaim that, then you own everything, all losses and gains in that corporation name. So it allows you to step out of this law of commerce and Admiralty shipping law, which we've been hoodwinked into in our innocence. But a lot of people are really waking up, and there's lots of information online about common law, Admiralty shipping law, birth certificates and all. So just look it up and become empowered. I know a lot of people will already know this stuff anyway. It just takes a little bit of time to sink in sometimes, the information. But to know your birthright, to know your sovereignty, that's the day and age we are in. That's why we chose to return. Well, we had to come back, but for this particular time, to tie up the loose ends, to move on, to step out of all of the pain and the struggle and the strife that got us to this point, to have learned all the valuable lessons in there in order to shift on, to move on with no baggage, no baggage, no baggage in the heart, no baggage in the soul. Do you see my flowers there? A beautiful friend of mine bought me those flowers for my birthday. It's been a long time since anybody remembered my birthday. So that was a very, very, very beautiful, beautiful, beautiful gift. Beautiful respect and acknowledgement. Thank you. I very much appreciate it. Much as I do believe that flowers should grow in their natural environment, still I very much appreciate that someone spent the time to acknowledge my friendship, which was over 30 years ago when we met, and reconnected quite recently. And it's nice. It's nice to meet friends again. It's nice to be a friend. Be a friend. Always be a friend to people. This world is far too much being taken up with money. You know, and I still see it very much so. You know, money's still playing too great a part. All the light workers, all the people working in that call themselves love and light, really, really must be more generous You are not being full light if you will only offer your services for money. We must show the way. Be generous with your heart. The rewards are always mighty universally. And you should never do it for universal rewards anyway. But the more you give, the more universally you receive, the more gifts, the more magic you get to witness. The more incredible results happen to you and through you. And isn't it beautiful to help make somebody's day a better day? When I can help anyone, my goodness, I consider it an honour. It makes me feel good. So it's a win-win situation when you help someone, when you assist someone. Not because you want recognition, not because you want money. Let money play its part, certainly. But let the generosity of your heart not be swayed by money. Because money means nothing when you arrive back in the universe, when you arrive back on the other side and you get to see. You don't want to go back and have that shocking life review and see all the people that you failed to assist because you were driven by money. You'll be back again. You know, as you sow, so shall you reap. Now, the last couple of years, I think, have just been the best of my life. Because of my heart residence. That great coming home, you know, where you're just not lonely anymore. You're not searching for answers anymore. Because you've come home to self and re-established and reconnected with the universe. That's what I needed to do. I was very lost. I was a soul in great turmoil throughout the formative years. And right up till I was probably about 40. I really was struggling with this life. I could not understand what a cruel world I was in and how to resolve it. So I was hanging on to a lot of stuff, a lot of emotional stuff, pain, anger, frustration, eventually. And they all manifested in great depressions and arthritis and not wanting to be here, and this vicious cycle of unhappiness. Let me tell you, everything will be overcome. I now see every experience I had for what it really was teaching me. Absolutely and utterly. How I was holding on to the drama, how I was caught up in this great illusion of what reality is. Caught up in this outside world of confusion and distraction and people behaving badly. I did a lot of good for people within that time space, but I became my own worst enemy. Because I was hurting so much inside and not understanding the purpose of being here, that I was on a soul journey to resurrect, evolve and ascend, as a much more powerful soul than ever before, to complete self, to complete that soul mastery. But it is a journey where you will have many dark nights of the soul, being brought to your knees in misery. Because at these times are the greatest insights, the greatest intervention, if you like. It was some dreadfully painful experiences, physically and emotionally, that I get the greatest universal intervention. The miracles happening. So when we come into the position of coming outside of the emotional self and being the observer, when you become love, you're not emotionally attached. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're not emotionally attached. You can be the greatest loving service if you're not emotionally attached. For there is no agenda then. So to become the witness of life, the witness of your own experience in this world, where it has brought you to and where it is leading you to. And all the posts and steps and along that way. The gratitude and appreciation that I feel now for my life, for my soul, it's phenomenal. And it will become even more so. It's a great letting go of pain. The great letting go of the lessons. Once you see the world of illusion for exactly what it is, the world of distraction and illusion, religion, schooling, money, all the sports and TV and pubs and drinking and all this outside. But it's where you learn the lessons. It's where you can make great strides in your evolution by being in the illusion. You have to empower. You have to empower from the inside. You have to work through all those emotions. You have to let anything go that is not serving you well. Insecurity, greed, selfishness, jealousy, anything connected to fear has to be let go of for you to empower. You must recognize it within yourself, and you must reach a point of being able to let it all go. But that is normally done with recognition. You have to recognize life. You have to recognize the universe. You have to re-establish your connection with the universe. Gaining more wisdom and knowledge on why you are here and what this journey is about really will assist enormously to being able to let go. To be able to truly release it and let it go, because none of it's important. The only thing that is important is you to regain your absolute highest, supreme Godhead within self. Because there is no power greater than love. No power greater than love. In this earth plane, there is nothing that can defeat love. It is the highest. It is the most high. Become the most high within yourself. And when you start to feel yourself as a light body. You start to feel the vibrations just the energy, you just become an energy vibration. It's very wonderful. And more and more and more people are reaching this state and this stage. And of course, that is because a lot of souls have been very powerful and pious souls in past lifetimes, but they didn't get to complete it because of the age we were in, the age of Pisces. They were bullied off the earth plane, pushed off the earth plane, whatever way to get you off the earth plane. But all those who would have left in that state are all here today again. I've no doubt about that. There's many great souls walking amongst us. Many great souls who have lived mighty lives. Many of the souls that you'll be looking up to today, that you think are on the other side, that are here, that are back here again. Because they didn't get to complete their cycle as naturally becoming just that pure loving being and transforming and shifting into the next life as a natural state when the soul has served its purpose and leaves the earth plane. Naturally, for it is its time. Now on this day, and yesterday was Peter's birthday. Peter, my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful friend. He was another one who was very, very powerful in my youth. I met him when I was 15. So I had three very powerful souls. I had my grandmother, I had my next door neighbour, and I had Peter whom I met when I was 15. Now those three are souls that I knew from prior lifetimes. Very beautiful souls, and from the same soul group. Catherine, and Peter. There are souls we will meet in this lifetime from our soul group. There are souls we will meet in this lifetime whom we may have persecuted or they persecuted us, and it has to be addressed. So I have met all the souls who persecuted me in prior lifetimes to end that, to finish off that business of bully and victim, or interrogator, intimidator and victim. So I've met many, many, many souls in this lifetime And this time round, they met the wall. Yeah, they weren't getting past me. They weren't getting over me. They weren't getting around me. They got the wall. You know, it was done. It was finished. It was finished business. We're here to finish off business and tie up loose ends. Now, I knew from a very young age that I was a very old soul. I knew things were terribly, terribly wrong in this world. I knew it instinctively that it was very wrong. Things were very wrong. But I was very fearful, and I didn't know how or why it was wrong, because I was still in the taught to believe. Believe your teachers, believe the church, believe all these false indoctrinations. But instinctively I knew, thank God, all my life, my instinct never let me down. I let myself down at times when my instinct was telling me very clearly something. And I allowed benefit of doubts. I missed some synchronicities through being too humble, you know, the offers of help or a lift or whatever when I was being too nice and too humble. And then some very unpleasant things happened to me because I was given the opportunity to take something. I didn't take it, and something else befell me. So we must learn to give and receive as an equal balance, you know, and not to give as in a sacrifice to yourself. That's not what it's about. It's giving of the generosity of who you are, if and when you can be of service, to always be of service to your fellow man, woman and child. And children coming along now also will be allowed to keep their connectedness with the universe. There will not be the old schooling system that will be conditioning you against your nature. As our energy rises en masse, the old system has to dissolve and fail away. It can be no other way, because that's the nature of energy. The higher, more loving frequencies that we become and that we are in, anything that isn't that loses its power. It really is that simple. So children will be able to remember their past lives and their connections there across the veil, because the frequency levels are coming up into that, and they're not going to be discouraged or dissuaded anymore from the understanding and the remembering. Sensitive children will be nurtured. Because in those first few years, they've only just come from the world of spirit. So their memory will still be very powerfully connected to that. So that will be nurtured and encouraged now as never before. Children will be taught also what food they need to be eating. They will be steered away from food that is no good for their body. The future is coming in rapidly, as in the heaven on earth future, the blessed souls. We've arrived at a stage in humanity where we are coming into our blessedness. There's movement. Anyway, I think that's enough for my birthday talk. I'm just in much joy, joyfulness. There's much to do. Come into small groups, come into gatherings, decide how to help each other. Bring it together. The winds of change are upon us. We just have to step into these roles and empower more. I'm still having to deal with my skeletal system problems. And a few months back, I took a great tumble backwards over a rock and really did not do my spine any good at all. I'm still paying the price today, but thankfully, I've been offered acupuncture sessions. By the system, so I mean, there's a lot of good within the system as well, I have to say. And I'm continuing to give my body, my carriage, or the vessel of my soul, the house of my soul, my temple, much more respect. Respect your temple. That's what is carrying your soul around. Do not fill it full of poison by drink and foods and processed foods which are of absolutely no benefit to our bodies at all. We really have to stop crippling ourselves. The answers are out there. You only have to look on YouTube. You know, there's so many generous souls in this world which are giving their information freely. Don't waste time in front of televisions and running around fields chasing balls when we could be educating ourselves. There's so much we need to relearn and unfold again. You know, we can heal all things within and without. All things will be healed in this great age. We really are only into the second. Yeah, we're only, what is it? We're only, yeah, 2 months into the second year from the sun entered the age of Aquarius. Now this is the age of freedom, the age of enlightenment. Now never forget that. No, there is no going back to the old days and the old ways. There is still a lot of horrendous things going on in the world of illusion, but do not pay it too much attention. Do not feed it energy. Do not give it your fear. Focus on raising your vibration, changing yourself within. That is the most powerful way to make the most dramatic change. For when you make all those dramatic changes internally, everything changes externally. You know, the crossroads has been met. We have crossed over into this new age. Never ever forget that or lose sight of that. Nothing that happened in the age of Pisces can happen again. That enslavement cannot happen again. That was the Iron Age. We are no longer in the Iron Age. We are just seeing the tail end of that. This too shall pass. Namaste.